Hi everyone and welcome to another Korean lesson from Korean Studio. My name is Kim Gi-hwan. Now, last year during the first lockdown here in the UK, like millions of people around the world, I got hooked on Itaewon Class. And I've been debating for the past 12 months whether I should make a lesson on Itaewon Class. And I don't know why I haven't made one yet, but I finally decided that I should create a lesson on learning some important and famous lines from the popular drama. Now, the focus of today's lesson is on learning two very famous lines said by 박새로이, who's the main character of the drama. And the drama itself essentially centers around who 박새로이 is. And I think these two lines will really help you to understand who he is. And if you haven't seen the drama yet, hopefully by the end of the lesson, it will pique your interest in watching this drama. Okay, so before we get going, so that we have a bit of a context for this lesson, here is a brief summary of the first episode. The main character's name is 박새로이, and the antagonist, the bad guy, is 장근원, a bully. And he's the son of a rich family that owns a chain of bars and restaurants. Now, the drama starts from 박새로이's first day at a new school. And on his first day, 박새로이 stands up to 장근원, the bully, and ends up punching the guy. Now, because of this, 박새로이 is about to be expelled, but 장근원's father tells him that if he gets down on his knee and apologizes, they will forget about the whole thing. However, 박새로이 refuses, and his father, who is an employee at 장근원's family business, quits his job right there and then in support of his son. Now, the tragedy is that shortly after this incident, 박새로이's dad is killed in a car crash. And this being a Korean drama, who else would be the driver of the car that killed 박새로이's dad, other than 장근원? Now, after finding out who killed his father, 박새로이 punches 장근원 a lot more and ends up in a prison. And when he finally gets out, he makes it his life mission to get revenge on 장근원 and his family by running the best bar restaurant business in Korea. And all of that happens by about midway through the first episode. Okay, so now that you have a bit of context, let's now take a look at the first important line by 박새로이. Okay, so before we listen to the first line, a bit of context for this scene as well. I already told you that 박새로이 punches 장근원 in the face, and this happens because 장근원 is a bully and he's harassing another kid. But as a result of this incident, they're both called into the head teacher's office. And at the same time, 장근원's dad, who is the owner of this big company that owns lots of bars and restaurants, also shows up. So does 박새로이's dad. And because 장근원's dad is this owner of this rich company, he kind of like has this control over the school as well, which is typical Korean drama. So 장근원's dad basically says, okay, well, you're about to get expelled, but if you get down on your knee and get down on your knees and apologize to my son, we'll let things slide. But 박새로이 refuses to apologize, and he goes into this long explanation about how if he did do anything wrong, then he should be punished. But in his mind, or in his view, that he's done nothing wrong because 장근원 is a bully, and all he did was stand up to a bully, and if anything, he deserved to be hit. So therefore, he will not get down on his knees and apologize to 장근원. Next, listen to what 박새로이 said.
잘못을 했다면 벌을 받아야 된다고 생각합니다. 저도 아버지한테 그렇게 배웠습니다. 하지만 장근원에 대한 사과는 할 수가 없습니다. 그게 제 소신이고 저희 아버지 가르침이고 앞으로도 그렇게 살고 싶기 때문입니다. 박 부장.
Okay, so let's take a look at this key line in a little bit more detail. 그게 제 소신이고, and this means that is my belief. 소신 is a noun that means belief, conviction, or principles. And this word is repeated time and time again in the drama. And you'll hear 박새로이 say, 소신 있게 살아야 돼, meaning that you have to live your life following your beliefs and principles. So again, this goes back to him saying that he didn't do anything wrong, and if anything, 장근원 deserved what he got. So he did the right thing, and that's his 소신, doing the right thing and standing up to bullies. Next, we have 저희 아버지 가르침이고. 저희 아버지 means my father, and 가르침 is a noun form of the verb 가르치다, meaning to teach. So 저희 아버지 가르침 kind of means what my father taught me. And he's emphasizing here again how his 소신, his beliefs and principles of being a good person, standing up to bullies and generally doing the right thing is what his father had taught him. And at the end of each part, you'll see the particle 고. And 고 is similar in meaning to and. And lastly, he says, 앞으로도 그렇게 살고 싶기 때문입니다. 앞 means forward, and 앞으로 can have different meaning in different context. But here it's used to talk about the time ahead, in the future. And 그렇게 살고 싶다 means I want to live like that. 그렇게 means like that, and 살고 싶다 combines the verb 살다, meaning to live, and 고 싶다, meaning want to. And lastly, we have 기 때문이다, and we use 기 때문이다 to provide a reason. So it's similar to it's because. So altogether, 앞으로도 그렇게 살고 싶기 때문입니다 means it's because that's how I want to live the rest of my life. I want to be a man of principles, someone who stands up to bullies, so therefore I will not get down on my knees and apologize to your son. And this scene is in the very first episode of the drama. And it sets the tone for who 박새로이 is. Someone who will always stick to his principles and beliefs about being a good person. And this is a really important trait of 박새로이. Let's watch that scene one more time.
잘못을 했다면 벌을 받아야 된다고 생각합니다. 저도 아버지한테 그렇게 배웠습니다. 하지만 장근원에 대한 사과는 할 수가 없습니다. 그게 제 소신이고 저희 아버지 가르침이고 앞으로도 그렇게 살고 싶기 때문입니다.
박 부장.
Okay, so before we look at the second line, a bit of context again. Many years after being expelled and after going to the prison and coming out, he eventually sets up a bar in Itaewon. But one evening, his staff accidentally served some underage kids alcohol, and somehow that gets reported to the police, and he has to go to the police station, and they tell him that his business has to close for 2 months. But one of the underage kids drinking at 박새로이's bar turns out to be 장근원's younger brother. So 장근원 turns up at the police station and sees the funny side to the whole situation where 박새로이 is in trouble because of his younger brother. And for some reason, because 장근원's family is rich, they have good relations with the police, and police recognize 장근원 and says, oh, you know, I didn't realize that this was your younger brother, and if you want, I can just let this one slide. However, if 박새로이 accepts this, then it would mean that he's getting help from his arch nemesis, 장근원. So 박새로이 refuses and asks the police to serve him 2 months suspension for serving underage kids alcohol, and he storms out of the police station. Now, at this moment, his future love interest, 조이서, who happens to be one of the people in the party that was drinking, the underage kids, kind of sees all this unfolding in front of her, doesn't really understand what's going on, but follows him out of the police station and confronts him and says, why are you being, why don't you accept this help? You know, this one time, if you accept this help, then you can keep your business open and you basically won't lose any money. So this one time, you should accept this help. And here is what 박새로이 said.
그래도 지금만 한 번 참고 넘어가면 다 해결돼.
지금 한 번! 지금만 한 번, 마지막으로 한 번, 또 한 번!
순간에 편하겠지. 근데 말이야, 그 한 번들로 사람은 변하는 거야.
Okay, so let's consider this line in more detail. Now, the first part to this, you see this word 한 번 used a lot. 지금 한 번, this one time now. 지금만 한 번, just this one time now. 마지막으로 한 번, this one last time. 또 한 번, again and again one time. So all this reference to 한 번, one time, is about accepting an easy way out and going against your beliefs. And this will be like going against his principles, his 소신. So 박새로이 refuses. Then he says, 순간은 편하겠지. 순간 means moment. 편하겠지, things will be easy. Now, 편하겠지 combines 편하다, which means to be comfortable, and 겠다, which means will. So he's saying that it will be easy in that moment. And in this part, we have this suffix 지. And we use this suffix 지 when we think the other person knows or would agree with what we're saying. So when he says 순간은 편하겠지, he's assuming that the other person knows this too. So it kind of functions as sure in this part. Then we have 근데 말이야. But you know what? 근데 is a shortened form of 그런데, and this means but. And 말이야 can have different functions depending on how it's used, but in this sentence, it's used to get the other person's attention. And it can be attached to nouns to bring the listener's focus to that noun. So, for example, if I want to ask my friend how much he paid for this pen, I can first say, 이 pen 말이야, and this means, you know this pen. So, 말이야 helps to bring attention to the pen. So, it kind of functions similar to you know. And then after that, I can ask the actual question about how much he paid. So, I can say, 얼마 주고 샀어? And it means, how much did you pay to buy the pen? So, 말이야 can function similar to you know in English and is more commonly used in speech than in writing. Now, in this part, 근데 말이야 brings 조이서's attention to 박새로이. And after that, 박새로이 says, 그 한 번들로 사람은 변하는 거야. That's how you change as a person. Now, the literal meaning of this part is actually a little different. 그 한 번들로 means with all those one time. 사람은 people and 변하는 거야 change. This last verb phrase is made up of several parts. First, we have the verb 변하다, meaning to change. And then we change the verb into a noun form by adding 는가 to the verb. And then we add the verb 이다, which is similar to the English be verb. So the literal meaning of this part is people change with all those one time. That's how you change as a person. So this line again goes back to how 박새로이 wants to live his life by sticking to his 소신, his beliefs and principles. Let's listen to this line one more time.
그래도 지금만 한 번 참고 넘어가면 다 해결돼.
지금 한 번! 지금만 한 번, 마지막으로 한 번, 또 한 번!
순간에 편하겠지. 근데 말이야, 그 한 번들로 사람은 변하는 거야.
Now, these two lines are from earlier parts of the drama, and I think the second line is from the end of the third episode. So, and we didn't want to go into the lines from later on in the drama, because if you haven't seen the drama yet, then that might spoil things. But if you haven't seen the drama yet, hopefully these two lines have helped you to understand a bit more about the main character and about what you can expect when you do start watching the drama. Okay, so that's the end of today's lesson. I hope today's lesson was fun and interesting, and I look forward to seeing you soon again. Bye-bye.